ourselves, I guess.
Hard to check. That's your fine. Yeah, that's down here. Yo, present charges, I guess.
Good evening, I'm Judge Shade, and you, sir, are
Hernandez.
Mr. Hernandez. Citation here charging you with assault, alleged occurred about noon today. All right, I'm Judge Shade. This is citation here charging you with assault. We'll appoint a man to bind him to represent you on these charges, hold you on 100 so you get time credit. Next court date will be tomorrow. Yes. 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You're not having any contact with the alleged victim in this matter. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Hernandez.
Thank you.
And Your Honor, this is the Spanish interpreter. The list doesn't indicate any Spanish speakers, but I don't know if that's been verified.
Let me check with the jail.
Okay.
So jail, do we have any Spanish speakers?
No, we don't have any Spanish speakers.
All right, if that changes, Leonore, we'll let you know. Thanks.
Very well. Thank you. Good night.
Good evening, I'm Judge Shane, and you are?
Hey, one more time. Harley Renee Jack.
Is Jack.
Yes.
They ran a records check. Perhaps in preparing you for release to treatment, and found a warrant out of Wilcox Justice Court.
Yeah, it was a speeding. It's a speeding ticket. Driving on a suspended.
It's driving on a suspended, yes. I'm going to release you on this charge, give you a court date of June the 23rd at 9 a.m. in the Wilcox Justice Court.
Thank you so much, Your Honor.
If you are unable to be there, and it may be that you're still in residential treatment and not able to get there, be sure that you contact them well in advance of your court date. I'm noting condition of release is no alcohol or illegal drugs, no driving without a valid license, and comply with the terms of probation. But I am noting, so that it should be on the paperwork that Wilcox Justice Court gets, that you have been in custody since February 14th and that you are in the process of being released for treatment.
Thank you, Your Honor. And will it say on there the time and stuff?
6:23 at 9 a.m. Yes, it'll be on your paperwork.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
That's an everything that's exert responsibility for that. You don't send it out of town on your website. Only if you got Collins. Yeah, six.
And do we have defense counsel present?
Yes, Your Honor. Oh, no. Oh, that would be.
No, I would.
Turn.
Jill, do we have defense
No.
counsel?
No. He goes outside, right?
Let's check with pretrial, see if they're there.
Is this Mr. Zarate?
Yes, it is.
No.
No, he's out.
It should be Mr. Zarate.
No, it shouldn't. He's not here.
Lost.
You know.
It looks like he's his lack of appearance isn't voluntary, Judge, so it sounds like he may need to be continued.
No. Okay, let's see what's going on. Good evening, I'm Judge Shade, and you, sir, are?
Oh, sorry. I'm Carter Santini. I wasn't sure which court we're talking about or which client we're talking about here.
Well, I'm trying to see who's in the chair.
My name is Adrian Herrera, Your Honor.
One on
All right.
JP.
All right, JL, what happened to Mr. Zarate CL?
He's not available.
Do we know why he isn't available?
He's in the hospital, Your Honor.
Say that.
All right, thank you.
Unbelievable. Send it right on her list. What time support? Says it on things.
All right, we'll continue. I'm sorry, yeah, we'll continue that till tomorrow morning. Oops.
Better get a bank on it.
Mr. Herrera Saldana, I have citations charging you with 5 counts of domestic violence disorderly conduct. One occurred earlier today, and 1 count of domestic violence criminal damage. Your next court date is going to be May the 28th at 10:30 in the morning, the Pima County Justice Court. Do you understand you need to be present at that time?
I do, Your Honor.
Standard conditions of release include violating no laws, remaining within the state of Arizona unless you receive permission of the court to leave the state, and of course appearing at all court dates. Additional conditions of release for you: no alcohol or illegal drugs, no acts of domestic violence, no contact with Christina Caseta or Angelica Galindo. If they want to have contact with you, they will need to contact Justice Court and ask that those conditions be modified.
I understand, Your Honor.
So you're not to go to their residence or workplace. You can go back with law enforcement to pick up your personal belongings.
I understand.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Herrera.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good evening. I'm Judge Shade, and you, sir, are?
Mark Royce.
Mr. Moraes. Bit concerned about your appearance history or lack thereof. Because
I'm sorry. Wait, my parents' history, you said?
know your appearance history.
Oh. Yeah, I'm sorry. I apologize. I've come back with Judge Million to get reestablished with a different classroom thing, but I'm getting a lot out of it now. So
I'm not even
Okay.
talking about that.
okay, I apologize.
I'm talking about 2 warrants out of Pima County Justice Court
Oh, okay.
for shoplifting and failures to appear.
I thought the shoplifting ones were all settled already. I apologize.
Understand when you have a court date, you need to appear.
Definitely.
All right, so with regard to those warrants, your court date's May the 28th at 8:30 in the morning in the Pima County
Okay.
Justice Court. Do you understand that you need to be present at that time?
I sure do.
You're not to return to any of those store locations.
Okay.
I also have new citations from today. Domestic violence, disorderly conduct, domestic, and 2 counts of domestic violence, criminal damage. Your next court date on this matter is going to be on June the 10th,
Okay, I understand that, Your Honor.
2 o'clock in the afternoon in the Tucson City Court.
Okay, Your Honor.
Conditions of release will include no acts of domestic violence, no contact with Richard Brown. You don't go back to his residence except once with law enforcement to get your personal belongings. Do you understand that?
I do.
If you need help with temporary housing or other issues tonight, check in with the transition center right outside.
Okay.
On your way out, there's a blue line directing you there. Thank you, Mr. Morose.
Thank you.
Oh. Thank you for reminding me. Good evening. I'm Judge Payton. Sir,
Victor Martinez.
Mr. Martinez. Citation charging you with domestic violence assault alleged to have occurred earlier today. And I believe the victim is on the line and wishes to be heard. Is that correct?
What was that?
The victim is connected to this proceeding and wishes to be heard.
I believe so. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. So Ms. Arteaga. You need to unmute if you're on your phone. I believe that's #6, *6. Unmute your phone. Okay, now you're muted again. Or somebody is muted and wasn't. So Ms. Arteaga, if you want to be heard, I need to hear you from you.
Your Honor, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Perfect.
So go right ahead. Give me your input, please. Not facts of the case, but just your thoughts on conditions of release.
Your Honor, I don't feel comfortable with him being released. I don't feel safe, so I object to his release of custody. He's threatened me and he's threatened my family. And I don't feel safe.
And Ms. Arteaga, is alcohol an issue or other substances?
I don't know if he does this without substance or on substance.
Okay. All right, Mr. Martinez, I'm going to give you a chance on this and release you on certain conditions.
Yes, ma'am.
No firearms or weapons, no alcohol or illegal drugs, no acts of domestic violence. You're not to have contact with Ms. Arteaga or her family. You're not to go to within 3 blocks of her residence or workplace. You can go back once with a law enforcement officer to get your personal belongings. Other than that, you do not go anywhere near Ms. Arteaga's residence. Do you understand that?
Understood.
Your court date is May the 28th at 10:30 in the morning in the Pima County Justice Court.
Understood.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez.
Thank you, Hunter.
Good evening, I'm Judge Shade, and you, sir, are
Good evening, Your Honor. I am Nathan Senjakowski.
Mrs. Kazakowski. Citation charging you with domestic violence assault. Alleged to have occurred earlier today. I believe the victim is on the phone, and did you wish to be heard on conditions of release?
Yes, Your Honor.
Go right ahead.
Can you hear me?
Can.
I do not feel safe having Mr. Sinjakowski released out into the general public. I fear for my safety, I fear for my animal safety, and I fear for the safety of the people around him. I have a concussion from being hit over the head with a metal mop today.
And you were not residing together, correct?
No, he comes and he stays at my house on the weekends to do laundry, I guess, and to have some place to get away from home.
Right. All right, Mr. Sinkowski, your next court date is going to be May the 28th at 10:30 in the morning.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're released on certain conditions. You have absolutely no contact with Mr. Levin. Do you understand that?
I do, Your Honor.
No alcohol or illegal drugs, no acts of domestic violence. You don't go back to within 3 blocks of Mr. Levin's residence or workplace. Do you understand that?
I do, Your Honor.
If you have personal belongings at his residence, you may go back once with a law enforcement officer to obtain those belongings.
I understand, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good evening, I'm Judge Shade, and you, sir, are
I'm Brian Federico.
Mr. Federico. Citation here charging with domestic violence assault, and domestic violence disorderly conduct.
All right.
Your next court date on this matter is going to be June the 13th at 9 o'clock in the morning in the Tucson City Court. Do you understand that you need to be present at that time?
Yes, ma'am.
Condition of release, you don't leave the state of Arizona. You violate no laws. Possess or consume no alcohol, no acts of domestic violence. You also need to be in the process of obtaining behavioral health and substance abuse assessments and following through on any recommended treatments. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? Thank you.
Yep. Thank you for your time, ma'am.
And the initials are now going on the paperwork, on the signature line.
Yes.
Hmm?
They said for more judges, so it's.
What is?
Everything keeps.
That-
up? The rest.
Yeah. Yeah, we're trying to do better on signatures, both of us. So.
Hers was better for him as generic judge. She's not in our system, but you are. Put it on there. Go
Okay.
ahead and write it every time.
Oh, yeah, I don't know how about that.
Excuse me.
Good evening, I'm Judge Shade, and you, sir, are
Lorenzo Felix, ma'am.
Mr. Felix. Citation charging you with domestic violence disorderly conduct. Alleged to have occurred, it looks like earlier today.
Yes, ma'am.
Your next court date on this matter is going to be June 17th at 1:30 in the afternoon in the Tucson City Court. Do you understand that you need to be present at that time?
Yes, ma'am.
You're not to have any contact with Esperanza. Do you understand that?
Yes.
You're not to go back to her residence, that entire apartment complex. You can go back once with a law enforcement officer to get your personal belongings. Do you understand that?
Understood. What about a quick question, Judge? What about my my right to see my daughter, is that not going to be able to be possible during this whole investigation?
You need to get an order from the Superior Court in order to do that.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
Right, thank you.
Fletcher.
Good evening, Judge Payton. You are
Ashley Fletcher.
Bruce Fletcher. I have a citation here from January 31st, charging you with theft. Looks like you were taken into custody that day. Pretrial services released you and gave you a court date of March the 4th, and you didn't show up. What can I do to be sure you're going to show up in court next time?
Your Honor, if I may, I actually was hospitalized around that time due to an assault. That's why I missed court.
That was
I was at St. Joseph.
That was 2.5 months ago. Why didn't you come to court between now and then?
I meant to get down to the courthouse to quash the warrant. I just didn't get the chance to before this.
In 2.5 months?
I wasn't aware that I had a warrant for my arrest. When I missed the court, I didn't realize, and I didn't realize that I had a warrant until my mom had told me that there was. So I apologize for that. I will do better in the future.
I will give you another chance to appear. That'll be June the 12th at 2 o'clock in the afternoon in the Tucson City Court. You're not to have contact with victims in this matter. You're not to go back to 1002 South Cole. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Right. Thank you, Ms. Fletcher.
Thank you.
I just something later. So that's why I'm released. And then in part of the picture, over the picture. So very sad. Coolly. We should take a look at it. That distribution.
Good evening, I'm Judge Shade, and you, sir, are
That's us.
Mr. Ross. Citation charging you with obstructing a drainage canal and criminal trespass. We'll appoint the City Public Defender's Office to represent you on these charges. Bond is $250. Conditions of release will include not returning within 3 blocks of that incident location, no alcohol or illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons. If you post the bond, your court date will be June 17th at 9:30. If you haven't posted the bond, it will be on video May 27th at about 1:45. And that will be consolidated with your other case that's currently set for June the 2nd, where you were also ordered not to go back to this incident location. All right, thank you, Mr. Ross.
Thank you. I cannot. Only one I don't have to be
Good evening, I'm Judge Sayed, and you, sir, are
Matthew.
I have citations charging you with domestic violence, criminal damage, and 2 counts of domestic violence, disorderly conduct. Alleged to have occurred earlier today in the city of your residence. And I believe we've got some of the victims on the line and wish to be heard. Is that correct? Ms. Cortez, Ms. Amaral?
Hello?
Yes, you wanted to be heard on conditions of release. Is that correct?
Yes, we just wanted to see what was gonna happen. My mom wanted to see what was gonna happen with my brother, and she just wants to support him with the situation. That's all she wanted to say.
All right, your next court date is going to be May the 28th at 10:30 in the morning in the Pima County Justice Court. You'll be released on your signature. Promise to appear. No acts of domestic violence, no contact with Jennifer. You don't go to her residence or work. I am noting that you may return to the former mutual residence as that is your family residence. So hopefully Judge tomorrow will order her not to go back there.
All right.
I mean, if she wants contact with you, she can file a motion in justice court to get that changed. And if she's ordered not to have contact with you, you can do the same thing. All right. Thank you, Mr. Armour. Money, email that to me. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'll send it to Judge Canaster so she knows tomorrow morning what I did tonight. Right. You know me, communication.
You on panel with them? Yeah.
Anybody else another way? So I use court.
Good evening. I'm just stating.
I'm done with court.
You're refusing?
Yeah.
You want to do it tomorrow?
No matter what bond she gives me, I can't get out.
Well, we just got to go through the motions. Okay. Just saying.
Matthew Cooley?
Mr. Cooley, interim complaint charging you with conspiracy, burglary, possession of burglary tools, possession of paraphernalia. Alleged to have occurred earlier today.
Guilty.
Will appoint public defender's office to represent you on these charges. Has probation placed a hold?
Not yet, Judge, but it's the weekend. That's probably going to be forthcoming in the morning.
Plead guilty. Let's get it over with.
Disregard that, Your Honor.
No,
I
I plead guilty.
Right. Will appoint city public defender's office to represent you on these charges. And did either counsel wish to be heard further on conditions?
Your Honor, I would just note his substantial felony history involving similar charges, as well as having ties to Illinois and Texas. So it appears this is kind of a continual kind of conduct, crossing state lines.
And he was placed on probation less than 2 months ago. Well, no, less than 6 months ago. Anything further from defense?
Judge, we'd be asking for a reasonable bond on this case of $1,100.
Preliminary hearing date is May 28th at 1:30. Bond is $5,000 secured. I'm noting that will be a possible APO hold. Not to return to the incident location. Have any contact with the alleged victims or potential co-defendants except through legal counsel. Thank you, Mr. Cooley. Hmm? No. nshayed@courts.az.gov.
Evening, Your Honor.
Good evening, I'm Judge Shade, and you, sir, are
Andres Lopez.
Mr. Lopez.
Yes, ma'am.
Interim complaint charging you with 3 counts of domestic violence aggravated assault, 1 count of domestic violence child abuse, and 1 misdemeanor count of domestic violence assault, and 4 misdemeanor counts of domestic violence disorderly conduct. We'll appoint public defender's office to represent you on these charges. If either counsel wish to be heard on conditions.
He's on release, Judge, so we're wanting a no bond hearing on this.
Anything further from defense?
Judge, I don't believe I can do anything in that situation. We'll just have to schedule the no bond here.
All right, preliminary hearing date will be May 28th at 1:30. No bond hearing will be May 23rd at 2:30. No alcohol or illegal drugs, no acts of domestic violence, no firearms or weapons. No contact with Ilsa or the children, except through legal counsel, Superior Court order, or DCS. You're not to go within 3 blocks of her residence or workplace. I'd suggest you not discuss this matter with anyone except your attorney. Thank you, Mr. Lopez.
Sorry.
Already.
Shoot Richard an email.
Already.
Hopefully, I don't know the schedule, but he can get back.
Already.
Yes. I don't have the number. I get wait up there. I'll get it for you.
Okay.
Let's just do it.
right, guys, stand up. Anyone who's sitting down right now. You held it up, remember previously?
Yeah, he was on release.
Good evening, I'm just sitting here.
Luis Diego Lamel.
Since we have multiple defendants in the courtroom, I need everybody to listen for just a couple of minutes. I'm Judge Shea. This is the time set for initial appearances. If you have misdemeanor matters, we may also do arraignment on those matters. It is the time for you to be formally advised of charges against you, for me to set conditions of release, including appointment of counsel on felony matters. It is not the time to talk about facts of cases or ask that charges be dismissed. Conditions of release will always include that you violate no laws, that you appear at all court dates, that you remain within the state of Arizona unless you receive permission of the court to leave the state. I would strongly suggest that you not discuss these matters with anyone except your attorney. All right, Ms. Drellerman, I have interim complaint charging you with felony charges of unlawful flight from law enforcement, possession of narcotics, misdemeanor charges of driving under the influence of intoxicating liquor or drugs, and reckless driving. We'll appoint public defender's office to represent you on these charges, and that either counsel wish to be heard further on conditions of release. Anticipate.
Your Honor, that go ahead.
I anticipate that there will be a probation hold placed tomorrow. So,
And that would be the state's position of the two separate probations and the fact that he drove or was fleeing at speeds of upward of 100 miles an hour, Judge. So in light of all that, that's why the state's requesting the $15,000 bond with pretrial.
anything further from defense?
Judge, weighing towards his relief, he's a lifelong Tucsonan. He has verified housing with his mother, and he is gainfully employed, which is big when you're coming off of a prison sentence. Given that probation hold and the court's inclination, though, we would just be asking for a more reasonable bond of $1,100.
Proven hates May 28th at 1:30. Bond is $7,500. If you post the bond, you'll need supervision of pretrial services. That will include absolutely no alcohol or illegal drugs, no driving without a valid license, no firearms or weapons. And behavioral health assessment and treatment is available in custody or is directed by pretrial services if you post that bond and are out of custody. And again, we do anticipate that there will be a probation hold placed tomorrow, so you don't want to post that bond tonight because it really won't get you anywhere. Right? Thank you.
Thank you.
Michael. One. You can see it.
Good evening. I'm Judge Shade, and you, sir, are
Marco Enriquez.
Mr. Enriquez. Interim complaint charging you with domestic violence kidnapping and domestic violence aggravated assault. We'll appoint public defender's office to represent you on these charges, and either counsel wish to be heard on conditions.
I have nothing additional to add to this one, Your Honor, from the state.
Judge, we would be asking for Mr. Enriquez's release to pretrial services, noting a number of things. First, Judge, he's a lifelong Tucsonan. He has a verified residence, and he is full-time employed. He's not a flight risk for those reasons. Those all indicate someone who can make it to court, is not, in danger of fleeing jurisdiction. The supervision of pretrial services is appropriate for that reason. Also, as well, Judge, it does appear like the victim does not intend to be remaining at the shared residence. Mr. Enriquez could be released there. If not, Mr. Enriquez is gainfully employed. He may be able to secure housing separate and away from the victim. I'd also like to note, Judge, that Mr. Enriquez has no prior criminal history whatsoever, no felony history, no misdemeanor domestic violence history. As well as to the scales, new criminal activity scale, it's a 1, failure to appealers scale, also a 1, Judge. In those types of circumstances, pretrial services really is the appropriate situation. So we would ask for him to be supervised by them.
Anything further from the state?
Your Honor, I would just note the part about the victim's views and the statistics that are, associated with these types of cases.
Preliminary hearing date is going to be May the 28th at 1:30 in the afternoon. Bond will be $15,000. If you post the bond, you'll be in the supervision of pretrial services. No acts of domestic violence. Absolutely no contact beginning right now with Mr. Engel. You're not to go near his residence or workplace. I am noting that he indicated that he is going to vacate the residence. So once he vacates the residence, you're free to go back there if you're out of custody. Thank you, Mr. Enriquez.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Seville.
Thanks.
Good evening, I'm Judge Shea, and you, sir, are
Don Estervio.
Mr. Estevillo. In a
Yes.
complaint charging you with possession of dangerous drug and organized retail theft.
Okay.
You will appoint the public defender's office to represent you on these charges, noting the presence of a DOC hold. Did either counsel wish to be heard on conditions?
Yes, Your Honor. So we are still requesting the $7,500 bond. If you look at how long he actually served in prison, which is the 1 year, 80 with the earned release credits, he probably only has about 55 days left until that hold lifts. So it's not a situation where, well, he's going to be held in anyways for a significant period. So it doesn't appear that a time credit type of bond would be appropriate. He's got a substantial felony conviction history involving various types of theft related offenses, which are also, I believe there's some violent one in there, as well, Your Honor. So that's why we're requesting the $7,500 bond with pretrial services.
And anything from defense?
Judge, we'd be asking for a more reasonable hold, noting of the violent prior. There's only one in his history. Other than that, it's a lot of property crimes and a marijuana charge. That violent crime occurred in 2009. Any bond he's going to be unable to pay, so I believe a $1,100 bond is appropriate.
Preliminary hearing date is going to be May 28th at 1:30. Bond will be $5,000 secured, pretrial services, if you post the bond. But again, you've got DOC hold, so. No alcohol or illegal drugs. You're not to go to any Walmart stores. Behavioral health and substance abuse assessment and treatment is available while you're in custody or under the supervision of pretrial services if you are out of custody. And other than the course of said assessments and treatments, I'd suggest you not discuss this matter with anyone except your attorney.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're still done. Sorry.
I also have a warrant here out of Douglas Justice Court. Looks like a pretty old warrant.
They'll figure that out.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, they'll help you.
Warrant out of justice is for failing to comply with domestic violence counseling. Set a court date for June 17th at 9 a.m. I will release you on these charges. You need to comply with terms of probation, including no acts of domestic violence. I am noting for the Douglas judge that you had DOC hold, as well as being held on new felony charges. Additionally, that you were in custody of Department of Corrections from July 6th of 2021, August 1st of 2024. All right, thank you. Good evening, I'm Judge Data News. There are
Chris Lopez.
Mr. Lopez. Interim complaint charging you with theft of means of transportation. We'll appoint public defender's office to represent you on these charges. Did either counsel wish to be heard on conditions?
Your Honor, given the nature of the offense and his history, pretrial seems appropriate for him.
We're in agreement.
Preliminary hearing date's June the 9th at 1:30. You'll be released to the third-party custody of pretrial services. You'll participate in monitoring and treatment under their supervision. You'll have no contact with Keisha Lopez. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
And you won't go near her residence or workplace. Thank you, Mr. Lopez.
Thank you, ma'am.
Wait. Good luck. Ruins.
Good evening, and you, sir, are
Vincent Reese?
Mr. Reese. Interim complaint charging you with aggravated shoplifting and possession of paraphernalia. We'll appoint public defender's office to represent you on these charges. And did either counsel wish to be heard further on conditions?
Your Honor, I would just note he has a criminal history involving similar conduct. That's why we're requesting the $5,000 bond in light of that.
Anything further from defense counsel?
Judge, weighing towards his release to pretrial services, he only has the one prior. These are all property crimes. He does not, have any indication that he is violent. He does have housing with his sister in Marana, so he can stay local and should be able to get to court should he be released. Lack of serious criminal history and that local housing, I believe, if pretrial is not how you're leaning, then a much more reasonable bond of $1,100 is appropriate.
Given the repetitive nature of the charges, pretrial service release is not appropriate, particularly given the lack of compliance. previously. Preliminary hearing date's May 28th at 1:30. Bond is $2,500. The bond is posted. You'll be in distribution of pretrial services, no alcohol or illegal drugs. You don't return to the incident location. Thank you, Mr. Reese.
You're not welcome.
Good evening. I'm Judge Shade, and you are?
Hi, I'm Nafisa Williams.
Ms. Williams, interim complaint charging you with aggravated criminal damage alleged to have occurred earlier today. We'll appoint public defender's office to represent you on these charges, and did either counsel wish to be heard on further on conditions?
Judge, I know the interim complaint is only limited to the criminal damage. It appears to be somewhat DUI type of related. I'd imagine those would either come in separately or together at the time of indictment. And she's got a significant felony and misdemeanor DUI history here, so that's why the state's requesting the bond that it is requesting in the recommendation.
So, Judge, looking at Miss Williams' history, she has not caught a new case since 2017, excluding the misdemeanor DUI outside of Sierra Vista, but I'll address that momentarily. In those 2014 and 2017 cases that were her priors, there's no indication that she missed court on those. There's no indication to me that she's missed court on any of her matters. This is someone who shows up to court. She does have verified housing and transportation through her friend Daryl, who would assume third-party custody of her, which really weighs mostly to her release. She is sober, Judge. This is not your standard sort of alcohol DUI. This is a prescription medication case, which sort of changes the scales of things. I think, Judge. You know, this isn't someone who's
prescribed to her either.
Judge, that's fair. You know, presumption of innocence. Things should weigh to her favor, I believe, at this time. For those reasons, Judge, and she does have the housing on Pantano Road. A lot of times with DUIs, Judge, and especially DUIs that aren't, clear-cut alcohol DUIs, these get dismissed on the 9th day of the 10 days that they're in custody for the DUI backlog that's going through with the DPS system right now, Judge. So I think that, letting her be released to the supervision of pretrial services is appropriate in this matter, given her lack of failures to appear, given her old felony criminal history, and for her confirmed housing.
Judge, hold on here. I want to rectify something here. Carter, she's not charged with DUI, so we don't need to wait for blood to come back in order to indict her on criminal damage. So, no, there's not a backlog. It's being worked through. So I want to make it clear to the court that we aren't just dismissing, ag DUI cases on the 10th day, because we are on a daily basis indicting them within the time limits.
Right. Well, and as you said, there is no DUI connected with this at this point. And I'm also noting that the pending DUI in Sierra Vista, which is a month old, was also drugs or metabolites.
Due to my medication, yes.
You really don't want to talk about it. Okay. Preliminary hearing date is going to be May 28th at 1:30 in the afternoon. Bond is $7,500. If you post the bond, you'll be distributed of pretrial services. Alcohol or illegal drugs, that includes prescription drugs that are not prescribed for you. You're not to drive without a valid license. Behavioral health and substance abuse assessment and treatment is available while you're in custody or under the supervision of pretrial services if you are out of custody. And no contact with the alleged victims in this matter. Thank you, Ms. Williams.
Wilson?
Good evening, I'm Judge Shade, and you, sir, are
Lonnie Wilson, Lonnie Andrew Wilson.
Mr. Wilson. I have an interim complaint here charging you with possession of dangerous drugs and possession of paraphernalia, as well as burglary. We'll appoint public defender's office to represent you on these charges, and either counsel wish to be heard further on condition.
Your Honor, we're requesting the $5,000 bond due to him being maxed out on both statistical scales, doesn't have a residence. I know he might have been here in Tucson for a while, but he's also got ties, it looks like, to New Mexico. Just based on kind of everything collectively, especially the maxed out scales, the state believes some form of a bond's appropriate to secure his appearance.
Judge, the ties to New Mexico are from a 2005 case. That is the Judge, the ties to New Mexico are from a 2005 case. That is the only. I don't really get misdemeanors in these types of cases, but that's the only felony criminal history that I have on my record. It's the 2005 incident from Farmington, Mexico. Given these types of allegations, I do believe that pretrial services may be appropriate, given the shot to try to come to court. If you're not inclined, Judge, given that he is homeless, I would ask for a much more reasonable bond of $1,100, given that any bond is going to secure his presence in the Pima County Jail.
Further hearing date will be May 28th at 1:30 in the afternoon. Bond will be $2,000. If you post the bond, you'll be released to the third-party custody pretrial services. No alcohol or illegal drugs, no contact with any alleged victims. You're not returned to the incident location. Behavioral health and substance abuse assessment and treatment is available while you're in custody or as supervised or directed by pretrial services if you are out of custody. Other than the course of those assessments, I would suggest that you don't discuss these matters with anyone except your attorney. I also have a misdemeanor file here for you out of Tucson City Court. Charges for theft, shoplifting on February 25th of this year, failing to appear on March the 10th. You then came in to court on April the 7th and requested a hearing, have the warrant quashed, and didn't appear at that hearing. You'll be released on your signature and promise to appear on these charges. The City Public Defender's Office will be appointed to represent you, though, because you're being held on other matters. Your next court date is July the 18th at 9 o'clock in the morning. If you're out of custody, you need to appear. If you're still in custody, the Public Defender's Office will address that with Judge Floats at that time. Right. Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Now to go back to 1225 West Irvington, and again, the behavioral health and substance abuse assessments and treatment.
That's it, right? All right, thanks, Judge. Thank you, Peter.
Have a good night, everybody.